So now let's do something in CorelDraw. I'm sure you are used to this interface, which is the same thing that I showed you in that Photoshop stuff. I'm going to try to cut the video so that the size will be less. All these things here you can look at them and know what to do and just play around with them. All these layouts here, templates, the document settings, then you have template section, you know, where you have pre-designed stuff that you can start working with. I don't know if they are downloaded already. Let me check. Oh, okay, so they are open. So you have some of those things there that you can start working with. All right. Well, that's about that. So, but let's dive into what I want us to do today. It's just let's just do this Apple logo. Now, I want to show you how usually you can recreate logos very easy. Mhm. It's usually an easy process. For instance, if you drew something on a piece of paper, if there is a logo that someone gave you and you drew it on a piece of paper, this is how you can easily just uh, place it on CorelDraw. Do you understand? And start remaking it. It's usually um, quite simple process. Here you get use the pen tool. um Like I'm going to be very fast for the sake of time so that the video will not be so lengthy like that. I'm using the hand tool to pan. You know hand tool now, H, you get. So I'll just go around this logo like this, you get. Actually, I'll edit this video to cut out to make this thing faster. So I've succeeded in uh, cutting all the edges. Now, as you can see in this section, I have that thing that I recreated, those things that I dubbed or something, they are here. So with this curve selected, as you can see inside here, if you don't have the objects panel, you can go to Windows, uh, Dockers, and you look for objects. Here you get. Now I've selected the objects that disappeared. So assuming yours is like this, you can see some things here. So Windows, Dockers, and objects. You can always close back this thing. You can close this place, but I don't advise that. So this object, with this object, you can see everything you have in your canvas. You can see them here. So you can make some less visible. You can just hide some elements. You can show it. Now after copying this thing, I can hide it and work on this main one, or I can delete it if possible. So but let's not do that for now. But usually that thing, I don't know what is going on. So but let's maybe just proceed with the video. And now after, like, I have the Apple logo, now I can just come and fill the inside with any color that I want. So apart from filling this inside, I can, that gradient I told you about, remember I told you about gradient. So what I can do is to match these two logos, sorry, to match these two objects. I'll select one and hold shift. I'll select the other one. Now there, I've matched two of them. So if I want to fill, if I want to fill it, the two of them will get filled at the same time. If I want to change the border color, it will change at the same time. So what now, I'm going to stick to black, and then I'm going to make it, I'm going to go here now, double click and make it a gradient. I will make it gradient properties. I want to color it gradient. So, and I want to go with something like a grayish gradient like that. Is it going to make sense? Yeah. So let me go with this gradient color. So as you can see now, that gradient, this is the uniform fill. This is gradient field. That's gradient of fountain fill actually. This is vector pattern. These are different kind of fields, but the most popular ones you're going to be seeing is this gradient and this uniform fill. So I've gone back to gradient. And with gradient, I can still play with it. I can still just play with this gradient. What's going on here? Well, I can play with the intensity, play with the how the thing is coming out, so you can see what I'm doing. You get, so you can apply these things to any image. Do you understand? I can equally just remove the whole borderline, and you see that it gives a different look. So but I'm going to have this image, I'm going to zoom out, click on it, holding shift so as to be on the same line. But on CorelDraw, when you click and right click, it's going to duplicate that asset for you. You understand? There are a lot of things in CorelDraw that you have to do. So but I'm going to take one of them and I'm going to remove the border. Do you understand? So I want you to recreate, I want you to get that HP logo and recreate it and try to get something nice. Get what's going on to my right. Trying to use the text to write something up. It's very small now. I know it was 24 points, but I want to write basic Apple logo. I'll select all. I'm trying to increase the font size to 200. Increase to 200. It's still not enough. So what I can do, drag and scale up. What do we have here? Basic Apple logo. So remember I told you not to install so much fonts in your system. It can slow you down. So but I have some fonts there that I can use to, give this text some, make it fancy sort of. Me, I don't have so much fonts here because actually with fonts you can do something good. You can do something sharp with fonts. But you know, like I told you, if you have fonts, so much fonts is going to slow down your system. not generally your system. So when you are doing anything in graphics, sure you get it's going to slow it down for you. So there you have it. This I can have it in a CorelDraw format, or I can just export again to my desktop, choose the format that I want, which I want to leave it in JPEG, and I export it to my desktop. Let's continue that. So while it's exporting here, let's go back to that Photoshop and let me show you some final stuff. Now in Photoshop, sometimes you see yourself trying to move backgrounds. Do you understand? Trying to move backgrounds from images. Let me pull up another image and show you something. Mhm. Okay, let me just use this picture and put it here. So imagine I gave you this picture and I say you should retouch it for me. Already the picture is HD. So, but what can you do to the picture? There are still something that you can do. For instance, this place that I hit my head in one gate one time, you can use that spot healing tool. It's J. You understand? You can use it and click on this place so that that dent has gone out. This my white beard, you can just hide it with that spot healing tool. Control Z, make it smaller, and voila, you get my point. Now you can still go ahead to do something like if it's a lady that you are editing her picture, do you understand? You can apply makeup for this lady. You get, if you use the brush tool B, reduce it, go to what's the color side? Go to this color, choose, probably select a color that match this thing, match something that looks like pink. Hmm? And then you can zoom in and actually try to, this is too much, reduce it, go for a brush that has feathers, and let's see what I can do here. So I'll have to, what I will do is, what I can do is to create a new layer, yeah, and reduce the opacity and the feel of this layer, then work on this. Yeah, now the opacity has been increased a bit, and same thing with the feel. Reduce this. So what I can do is, I want to give myself some pink lips here, make my lips pink. As you can see, it's working. Oh. I won't have to overdo it because it's going to be very obvious if I overdo it. So I'm going to hit Ctrl 0. As you can see, I've given myself some a bit retouch, and the lips has gotten kind of pinker, but you won't notice actually. You get, unless I overdo it, and if I overdo it, you know. But let me overdo it so I can notice it. You understand? So there are some basic retouching stuff that you can still do. Probably I can still get that brush, increase the size, and if I want to add some pancake, all those things for myself here. So you can see I'm clicking and I'm adding those things, you get. So there are some things that I can still, do to retouch on the picture. For instance, there's something that is written here that I don't want to show on the picture. I can still use that spot healing to J and try to remove some things. Sorry, click on this one and try to remove some things from this picture with spot healing tool. Now, what I told you about that stamp tool, this tool, yeah, you can use it to do spot. You can use it to, actually replace some things. But let me show you how to use it. You have to select, hold Alt, it actually copies something from somewhere and replaces it with something elsewhere. For instance, I want to clean up this venue. I'll hold Alt and select here. Then I'm going to be clicking. See, I see now that the venue is going out. It's unlike the spot healing tool. Do you understand? I'm copying things from, as I'm holding that Alt key, I'm copying things from, it's my mouse, I'm copying things from this side. Anywhere you see that plus, that target icon is where it's currently copying from. So when I select here, I'm not copying things from that target icon. I see it now. I'm pasting it here. I'm copying things from that target icon and I'm pasting it here. So I've removed that venue. But if I want to do a cleaner work, I can still zoom in. I'll zoom in and then I will hold Alt and click here and try to remove it entirely. Get, so that's that for this Photoshop basics and excuse me. You advise you go and still play around with this software. That's what I wanted to show you actually. There are some other things that you can still do with Photoshop. For instance, you can still create uh, you can still create stuff from scratch using Photoshop, but those things are things that you are going to do on your own. You get, you can create stuff from scratch using Photoshop. You get, you can do all these things from scratch using Photoshop, but those things are going to come up as your own personal training. So you get things like merging. You can actually merge things like this. So you get now to come up with a different thing. For instance, let me show you merging in CorelDraw. Mm. Let me show you merging in CorelDraw. For instance, I made this circle and I made this other circle and I now made this small other circle. Mm. Or let me just uh, let me just copy and paste this circle because it's the best way to get this and match. So I've made this circle now. I can match these three circles. They are just here. I can play around with all these matches. I can weld it together and they are the same head now. I'll do Ctrl Z and I can trim it. See, I've trimmed this one away and look at what I have. I'll do Ctrl Z, and then I can intersect these objects. And what the intersection does is, not in this case actually. This can give us this thing. So I can simplify it actually, and the simplification what it does is almost like what do they call it? It's almost like trimming, but on the like opposite of trimming. But you won't quite notice those things now. So, but it's something that you should play around later on your own. Front minus back, you have back minus front. Mhm. Then you have create boundary. You understand? So these are different things that on your own intensively you can work on it. But for now, let's just go with merge and we are presented with Mickey Mouse head that we can use to do some things if we want. So I will stop here and I will send you this video For now, we discussed about gradients now, as you can see. You get, we've talked about gradients. You know, there's transparency too. There is field transparency. You get, there is normal gradients, color gradients. Let me remove this transparency and leave it on gradient. So you can, there's many things I can do with this gradient too. I can create more gradients. I can create more of these things in some places. So you get, so that's that for probably the demo that I want to show you. Until next time we have a class.